Hannah Kim flinched as the lab door slid open with a hiss. She jumped again when her coffee mug clinked against the metal table, and once more when her colleague Dury called her name. "Still scared of everything, Hannah?" Dury asked with a kind smile. Hannah nodded, her cheeks turning pink. Everyone in Earth Colony Epsilon knew about Dr. Hannah Kim, the brilliant xenobiologist who was afraid of her own shadow. "I can't help it," she said softly. "Well, you're the best scientist we have, scared or not," Dury said. "That's why they're sending you to Pyra 7. Hannah's eyes widened. "Pyra 7? But that's the most dangerous colony planet." Dury nodded. "The wildlife there is killing the settlers. They need someone who understands alien biology." "They need you." Hannah felt her heart beat faster. Pyra 7 was known for its deadly creatures and terrible weather. The human colony there was always in danger. It was the last place she wanted to go. "I can't," she whispered. "I'm not brave enough." "You won't be alone," Dury said. "The military has made something special for you." 2 days later, Hannah stood in a large metal room, staring at the creature before her. It looked like a horse, but not quite. Its skin was a mix of metal plates and lab-grown tissue. Its eyes glowed a soft blue. "This is Da," said Colonel Taiho. "He's the first of his kind, a biomechanical horse built for Pyra 7's harsh world." Hannah stepped forward, hand shaking, as she reached out to touch Da's nose. The horse-like creature leaned into her touch. "He has the brain of a supercomputer and the body of a war machine," Taiho continued. "But we've given him the heart of a loyal horse. He will protect you." "He's beautiful," Hannah said, surprised at how warm Da felt despite his metal parts. Taiho handed her a small device. "This links him to you. Your thoughts, your fears, your needs. He'll know them all." Hannah put the device behind her ear. Immediately, she felt a presence in her mind. Not words, exactly, but feelings. Da was saying hello. The trip to Pyra 7 took 3 weeks. By the time they arrived, Hannah and Da were inseparable. When Hannah was scared, which was often, Da would nuzzle her gently or stand between her and whatever frightened her. As they stepped off the transport ship, Hannah gasped. Pyra 7 was both beautiful and terrifying. The sky was a deep purple, with 3 moons visible even in daylight. The plants were tall and strange, some glowing with soft light. "Welcome to Pyra 7, Dr. Kim," said the colony leader, a tall woman named Sun. "We're glad you're here. The native creatures have killed 12 people this month." I'll do my best," Hannah said, already trembling. Sun looked doubtful until she saw Da. "Is that a military biomech? I've never seen one shaped like a horse before." "He's a prototype," Hannah explained, "made for this planet." That night, in her small colony room, Hannah couldn't sleep. The strange sounds of Pyra 7 kept her awake. Roars and howls from unknown creatures filled the darkness. The walls seemed too thin, the locks too weak. Da, who had been given a special stable connected to her room, sensed her fear. He pushed through the connecting door, which was made specially for him, and stood by her bed. "I'm not cut out for this," Hannah whispered, stroking his metal and flesh neck. "Everyone thinks I'm smart enough to save them, but I'm too scared to even leave my room." Da lowered his head and gently butted her shoulder. Through their link, she felt his message. "I am not afraid. I will be brave for both of us." Hannah smiled and pressed her face against his warm neck. "Then I'm lucky to have you," she whispered, "because tomorrow we start exploring the most dangerous planet humans have ever found." Da's blue eyes glowed brighter in the dark room, ready for whatever might come. 1 week had passed since Hannah arrived on Pyra 7. Each day, she and Da went a little farther from the colony walls. Hannah collected samples of plants and soil, while Da kept watch for danger. This morning, they were in Hannah's lab. She looked through her microscope at a leaf sample when an alarm blared. Hannah dropped her tools and covered her ears. All scientists to the main hall, the voice said over the speakers. Emergency meeting now. Hannah's heart raced. What's happening, Di? The biomechanical horse stood alert, his metal parts gleaming under the lab lights. Through their mental link, Hannah felt his calm strength flowing into her mind. In the main hall, colony leader Sun stood before a large screen. Her face was grim. Our orbital sensors have detected a large meteor shower, Sun announced. It will hit in 3 days. The room filled with worried voices. Sun raised her hand for quiet. The meteors themselves are not the main problem, she continued. They will trigger fire season early. Gasps and cries filled the room. Even Hannah, new as she was, had heard about fire season. For 2 months each year, chemical storms swept across Pyra 7. The sky would burn with strange fire that destroyed everything in its path. The main colony shields will protect most of us, Sun said, but our research stations will be lost. A man stood up. What about the people at those stations? We're calling them back now, Sun replied, but Station 12 isn't responding. The screen changed to show a map. Station 12 was the farthest research post, deep in the Rocky Hills. Who's at Station 12? Someone asked. Dr. June Park, Sun said. Hannah gasped. Dr. Park was her mentor, the man who had taught her everything about alien biology. He was also her friend. Dr. Park has been tracking the migration patterns of the spark fangs, Sun explained. His data could save many lives. Without it, we won't know where these predators will go after fire season. Hannah raised her hand. Can we send a ship to get him? Sun shook her head. The air is already too unstable for flying. And there's no landing pad at Station 12. It would have to be a ground rescue. How long do we have? Asked a security officer. The first chemical storms will start in 48 hours, Sun said. Anyone going would need to reach Station 12 and get back before then. The room went quiet. Station 12 was a full day's journey through dangerous land. We need volunteers, Sun said. It's a risky mission. I won't order anyone to go. No one spoke. No one raised a hand. Hannah felt Day nudge her mind through their link. Images flashed in her thoughts. Dr. Park teaching her, helping her, believing in her when others didn't. I'll go, Hannah said, her voice shaking. Everyone turned to stare at her. You? The security officer asked with disbelief. But you're afraid of everything. Hannah stood on wobbly legs. I have Da. He was built for this planet. His systems can withstand extreme heat and chemicals. He can find paths humans would miss. Sun studied her for a long moment. Are you sure about this, Dr. Kim? Hannah wasn't sure at all. She was terrified. But she thought of Dr. Park alone at Station 12, unaware of the coming danger. I'm not sure, she admitted, but Day is. 2 hours later, Hannah packed supplies while Taeho checked Day's systems one last time. His heat shields are at full power, Taeho said. And I've added extra protection for you. He handed Hannah a silver suit. This will help, but don't rely on it. If fire season starts early, get back to the colony immediately. Hannah nodded, though they both knew there would be no turning back once she was halfway to Station 12. As she put the last supplies in Daz's saddlebags, Hannah whispered to him, I'm not brave enough for this, but you are. Daz's blue eyes glowed bright as the colony gates opened to the dangerous world beyond. The colony gates closed behind Hannah and Dai with a heavy thud. There was no going back now. Hannah's hands shook as she gripped Daz's reins, though she didn't need them to guide him. Their mental link was enough. The purple sky seemed darker today. In the distance, Hannah could see strange clouds building. The air smelled different too, sharper, with hints of metal and something burning. Let's go, Dai, she whispered. The biomechanical horse moved forward at a steady pace. His hooves, made of special alloys and synthetic tissue, gripped the rocky ground perfectly. Hannah tried to focus on the path ahead, but her mind kept showing her all the dangers they might face. Through their link, Dai sent calming thoughts. Not words, but feelings of strength and safety. Hannah took a deep breath. She had to be brave for Dr. Park. By midday, they had covered more ground than Hannah expected. Dad moved quickly, choosing paths that Hannah would never have found. They stopped by a small stream for a short rest. As Hannah filled her water bottle, she heard a rustling sound. She froze. 20 feet away, a bush moved. Then something emerged, a creature about the size of a large dog, but with 6 legs and skin that sparkled like it had tiny diamonds embedded in it. Its mouth opened to reveal rows of needle-like teeth. A spark fang. Hannah couldn't move, couldn't breathe. These creatures had killed many colonists. They hunted in packs and could tear through metal with their special teeth. The spark fang saw her. It made a clicking sound, then another. It was calling its pack. Hannah wanted to run, but her legs wouldn't obey. Fear held her in place like cement. Suddenly, Dai was between her and the creature. The biomechanical horse reared up, his front hooves flashing in the purple light. A panel on his chest slid open, revealing a bright light that pulsed with increasing intensity. The spark fang hissed, backing away from the light. It made one more clicking call, then turned and disappeared into the bushes. Hannah collapsed against Dai's side, her heart racing. "Thank you," she whispered. Dai nudged her gently. Through their link, she felt his urging. They needed to move. The pack might still come. By evening, the landscape had changed. The ground rose into rocky hills, and the plants were fewer. Ahead, Hannah could see a ridge they needed to cross before nightfall. "We're making good time," she told Dai, trying to sound confident. But as they started up the ridge, Hannah noticed something in the sky. The clouds she had seen earlier were now spreading fast, taking on a reddish glow. "Fire season is coming even faster than they thought," she said, her voice shaking. Dai increased his pace up the steep path. At the top of the ridge, they both stopped to look back. The red clouds were moving in their direction. In some places, Hannah could see flashes of actual fire in the sky. "We need to find shelter for the night," she said. Dai surveyed the landscape ahead, his advanced sensors scanning for safe spots. He moved forward with purpose, leading Hannah down the other side of the ridge toward a cluster of large rocks. As darkness fell, they reached the rocks. Dai had found a small cave, just big enough for both of them. Hannah set up a small camp light and checked her map. "We're halfway to Station 12, she told Dai. "If we keep this pace, we'll reach Dr. Park by tomorrow afternoon." She looked out at the darkening sky. The red glow was stronger now. Fire season was coming fast. That night, as Hannah tried to sleep, she heard strange noises outside, hissing sounds, and the crack of electrical discharge. The air was changing. Chemicals were building up. Dai stood at the cave entrance, his body between Hannah and whatever might come. His systems hummed quietly as they monitored the environment. "I'm not the hero they think I am," Hannah whispered. "I'm just a scared scientist who doesn't want to lose her friend." Dai turned his glowing blue eyes to her. Through their link came a clear feeling. Sometimes that was enough of a reason to be brave. Morning came with an eerie red light filtering into the cave. Hannah woke up with a start. She had dreamed of fire raining from the sky. Dai stood at the cave entrance, his sensors working overtime. Through their link, Hannah felt his concern. The air outside had changed overnight. Hannah packed her small camp quickly. "How bad is it?" she asked. Dai turned his blue eyes to her. In her mind, she saw images of the sky, clouds moving faster than they should, with flashes of light inside them. "We need to hurry," she said, her voice small. As they left the cave, Hannah gasped. The purple sky of Para 7 was now streaked with red and orange. In the distance, where the clouds were thickest, she could see actual flames dancing in the air. Fire season had begun. They moved as fast as they could through the rocky terrain. Dai's hooves found secure footing where human feet would slip. His body generated less heat than a normal horse, making him perfect for the rising temperatures. By mid-morning, the air was so hot that Hannah had to put on her special suit. It would protect her for a while, but not forever. Station 12 is just beyond that mountain, she told Dad, pointing to a tall peak ahead. If we can get there, we can get Dr. Park and head back before the worst of the fire hits. Day increased his pace. His metal parts were designed to handle extreme heat, but even he had limits. As they began to climb the mountain path, Hannah heard a familiar clicking sound. Her blood turned cold despite the heat. "Spark fangs," she whispered. This time there wasn't just one. 6 of the creatures emerged from behind rocks, their diamond-like skin catching the red light. They circled Hannah and Day, clicking to each other. Hannah wanted to scream, but no sound came out. The spark fangs moved closer, their teeth flashing. Day's chest panel opened again, the bright light pulsing. But this time, the creatures didn't back away. They were hungry, and they had learned not to fear the light. One of the spark fangs leaped toward Hannah. Day moved faster than Hannah thought possible. His back legs kicked out, catching the creature in midair. At the same time, a sound wave burst from his chest panel, so loud that Hannah had to cover her ears even through her suit. The spark fangs screeched in pain. Their sensitive hearing couldn't handle the noise. They scattered, running back into the rocks. "That was amazing," Hannah said, breathing hard. Day nudged her gently with his nose. No time to rest. They had to keep moving. By early afternoon, the sky was burning. Actual flames danced among the clouds, and occasionally, drops of fire would fall to the ground like rain. The suit protected Hannah, but it was getting hotter inside. Day's external plates had shifted, creating a more complete shield around his vital parts and Hannah's legs. Through their link, Hannah could feel that he was working hard to keep cool inside. They were almost at the top of the mountain when a massive crack of thunder split the air. The ground shook, and part of the path ahead crumbled away. "No," Hannah cried. The path was gone, leaving a gap about 15 feet wide. Below was a drop of several hundred feet. There was no way around it. The mountain was too steep on either side. "We have to go back," Hannah said, her heart sinking. "Find another way." But Day didn't turn around. Instead, he backed up about 30 feet. "What are you doing?" Hannah asked, suddenly afraid. Through their link, she understood. Day was going to jump across the gap. "No, it's too far. We'll fall." Day's mind sent her feelings of confidence. He had calculated the distance. His powerful legs could make it. "I can't," Hannah cried. But Day was already moving, building speed. Hannah closed her eyes and held on tight as the biomechanical horse raced toward the edge. She felt the moment when his hooves left the ground. They were flying through the hot air, with nothing but a deadly drop below them. Time seemed to stretch. Hannah kept her eyes shut, certain they would fall. Then she felt a jolt as Day's hooves hit solid ground. They had made it across. Hannah opened her eyes, trembling all over. "You did it," she whispered. Ahead of them, nestled against the mountainside, was Station 12. Station 12 was a small building made of metal and special plastics. As Hannah and Day approached, the door remained closed. "Dr. Park," Hannah called out. "It's Hannah Kim. Are you there?" No answer came. Hannah's heart beat faster. Had they come all this way for nothing? She climbed off Day's back, her legs wobbly after the terrifying jump. The sky above was now fully red, with streams of fire moving through the clouds like rivers. Hannah pressed the door button. Nothing happened. The power was out. "Dr. Park might be hurt inside," she told Da. "Can you open it?" Da moved forward. A small panel opened in his shoulder, and a thin metal tool extended. He inserted it into a slot beside the door. After a few seconds, the door slid open with a hiss. Inside, the station was dark. Hannah turned on her suit's lights and stepped in cautiously. "Dr. Park, are you here?" A weak voice answered from the back room. "Hannah, is that really you?" Hannah rushed through the station to find Dr. Park lying on a cot. His leg was wrapped in bandages, and his face was pale. "What happened?" she asked, kneeling beside him. "I fell while collecting samples," he said. "The communication system was damaged in a storm last week. I couldn't call for help." He looked at her with wonder. "How did you know to come?" "Fire season is starting early," Hannah explained quickly. "A meteor shower is coming. We need to get you back to the colony right away." Dr. Park tried to stand but winced in pain. "My leg is broken. I can't walk." Hannah felt panic rising inside her. How would they get back to the colony now? Day entered the small room, his metal and flesh form barely fitting through the doorway. He looked at Dr. Park, then at Hannah. Through their link, Hannah saw images of Dr. Park riding on Day's back while she walked beside them. "No," she said firmly. "We both need to ride. We'll make it work." 30 minutes later, they were ready to leave. Hannah had collected Dr. Park's research data and stored it safely. She had made a special seat on Day's back where Dr. Park could sit securely with his broken leg protected. As they stepped outside, Hannah gasped. The world had changed while they were inside. The sky was now a roiling sea of fire. Flaming debris fell all around them, burning briefly where it hit the ground. The air was so hot that it hurt to breathe, even through her suit. "We might be too late," Dr. Park said, his voice filled with fear. But Hannah had come too far to give up now. "Da can do it," she said, helping Dr. Park onto the biomechanical horse's back. He was made for this. Hannah climbed up behind Dr. Park. Day's body shifted, his metal plates extending to create a bubble of protection around his riders. They began their journey back down the mountain. The path they had used earlier was now partly blocked by fallen rocks. Day found new routes, his sensors cutting through the smoke and heat to find safe passage. Halfway down the mountain, a massive bolt of lightning hit a cliff above them. Rocks tumbled down, forcing Da to leap sideways to avoid being crushed. "We should find shelter and wait it out," Dr. Park shouted over the noise of the storm. But Hannah shook her head. "The colony sensors showed this will last for 2 months. We have to go through it." When they reached the bottom of the mountain, a new horror awaited them. The valley they had crossed earlier was now a river of liquid fire. The chemicals in the air had pooled in the low ground and ignited. "There's no way across," Dr. Park said in despair. Hannah felt Day's determination through their link. The biomechanical horse backed up, preparing for another run. "Hold on tight," Hannah shouted to Dr. Park as she gripped Day's mane. Day charged forward, building speed. The river of fire grew closer. Hannah closed her eyes and buried her face against Day's neck. "I trust you," she whispered. Day leaped, carrying them over the flames below. Day landed hard on the other side of the fire river. His front legs buckled slightly, but he caught himself before his riders could fall. Hannah opened her eyes, amazed they were still alive. "That was impossible," Dr. Park whispered. "No normal horse could have made that jump." "Di isn't normal," Hannah said with a small smile. She patted his neck, feeling the warm metal plates under her hand. They continued through the burning landscape. The air was filled with ash and smoke, making it hard to see far ahead. Strange shapes moved in the fire above them, forms that looked almost alive. "Look," Dr. Park pointed to a cluster of plants nearby. Unlike everything else around them, these plants weren't burning. Instead, they seemed to be drinking in the fire, glowing with orange light. "They're fire-resistant," Hannah said in wonder. She had never seen anything like it. Day stopped beside the plants. A small panel opened on his neck, and a thin probe extended to touch one of the glowing plants. "What is he doing?" Dr. Park asked. "Collecting data," Hannah realized. Through their link, she could feel Day's curiosity. He's learning about them. As they moved on, Hannah noticed that Day was doing more than just finding a safe path. Each time they encountered something new, strange rocks that didn't melt in the fire, animals that darted through the flames unhurt. Dad would scan them, storing the information. No one has ever been able to study fire season up close before, Dr. Park said, watching Da work. Your horse is making scientific history. Hannah felt a surge of pride. This could help the colony survive better in the future. By nightfall, though the sky was so bright with fire that it didn't get dark, they had covered half the distance back to the colony. They found shelter in a small cave where the air was cooler. While Dr. Park rested, Hannah checked Da's systems. The biomechanical horse was running hot, his cooling systems working hard. You need to rest too, she told him softly. Da's blue eyes focused on her. Through their link, she saw images of the data he had collected. There was a pattern there that Hannah hadn't noticed before. Dr. Park, she called. Can you look at this? Dr. Park limped over as Hannah projected Da's findings onto the cave wall using her suit's system. This is incredible, Dr. Park said, his tired eyes wide with excitement. The fire patterns aren't random. They repeat in cycles. What does that mean? Hannah asked. Natural phenomena don't work like this, he explained. These are programmed patterns. Hannah stared at him. Programmed? By who? Dr. Park reached into his pocket and pulled out a small device. This is what I've been studying at Station 12. It's not just the animal migrations I've been tracking. He pressed a button, and a hologram appeared, strange symbols that Hannah had never seen before. I found this carved into rocks deep in the mountains, Dr. Park said. It's writing. Alien writing. Hannah's mouth fell open. Aliens? Here on Pyra 7. Dr. Park nodded. I believe so. Long ago. And I think they created fire season. Why would anyone create something so dangerous? Hannah asked. Protection. Dr. Park said simply. My data shows that under the surface of Pyra 7 are rare elements not found anywhere else in known space. The fire keeps people away from the deeper parts of the planet. Day moved closer, his sensors examining the alien symbols. Suddenly, his chest opened, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside was a small piece of metal with similar symbols etched onto it. Where did you get that? Dr. Park asked in amazement. Through their link, Hannah saw flashes of memory. Tai-Ho installing the piece during Da's creation, saying it was found on Pyra 7 years ago. Da was built with this technology, Hannah said slowly. That's why he can survive the fire so well. He's partly made from alien science. Dr. Park looked from Dad to the fire outside the cave. Then he might be the key to understanding this planet. And maybe. He paused, till controlling fire season itself. Hannah felt a chill despite the heat. Their mission had just become much more important than a simple rescue. Dawn brought no relief from the fire. If anything, the storm had grown worse overnight. The sky was now a churning ocean of flame, and the ground shook with constant thunder. We need to move, Hannah told Dr. Park as she helped him onto Da's back. The colony is still half a day's journey away. Dr. Park nodded weakly. His broken leg was causing him pain, and the heat was making him sick despite his protective suit. Day seemed to sense the urgency. As soon as both riders were secure, he moved out of the cave and into the burning world. His metal plates shifted again, creating an even tighter shield around Hannah and Dr. Park. They had traveled for an hour when a massive explosion shook the air. A ball of chemical fire erupted from the ground ahead, leaving a deep crater in their path. The main road is gone, Hannah said, her voice trembling. Dr. Park checked his map. There's only one other way back to the colony from here. He pointed to a narrow valley between two tall ridges. Through there. Hannah's blood went cold. That's the Crucible. No one has ever gone through it and lived. The Crucible was infamous among the colonists. It was a natural funnel that concentrated the worst of fire season's fury. Temperatures there could melt metal. The air itself could burn lungs. We have no choice, Dr. Park said. We can't go back, and we can't go around. Hannah looked at the valley entrance. Even from here, She could see the air shimmering with extreme heat. She was so afraid that she could barely breathe. Day turned his head to look at her with his glowing blue eyes. Through their link, she felt his determination. He believed he could make it. "Are you sure?" she whispered. Day's answer was to move forward, toward the crucible. The moment they entered the valley, Hannah understood why no one had survived it before. The heat was beyond anything she had ever felt. Even through her suit, it was like being inside an oven. Dr. Park had fallen unconscious, his body slumped forward. Hannah held him in place with one arm, while clinging to Da with the other. "Stay with me," she pleaded with Dr. Park, though she knew he couldn't hear her. Day moved steadily forward, his legs pushing against the superheated ground. Through their link, Hannah could feel his systems working harder than ever before. His cooling units were at maximum power. Halfway through the crucible, a strange sound filled the air, a high-pitched whine that grew louder and louder. The ground beneath them began to glow red. "Da, hurry," Hannah cried. The biomechanical horse increased his speed, though it clearly cost him. Hannah could feel his pain through their link. The extreme heat was damaging his systems. 3/4 of the way through, disaster struck. A stream of liquid fire poured down from the ridge above, cutting across their path. There was no way around it. Day stopped, calculating. Hannah knew they couldn't turn back. They had already come too far. And they couldn't stay where they were. "Can you jump it?" she asked. Day's answer was uncertain. The gap was wide, and he was already weakened. Hannah made a quick decision. She carefully shifted Dr. Park's weight forward, then slid off Day's back. "What are you doing?" Dr. Park had awakened, his voice weak. "Making you lighter," Hannah said. "Da can jump better with just one rider." "No," Dr. Park tried to protest. "You'll die out here alone." "Dad will come back for me after he gets you to safety," Hannah said, though she wasn't sure that would be possible. Day turned to look at her, his blue eyes dimmer than before. Through their link, Hannah felt his refusal to leave her. "You have to," she insisted. "The colony needs this data. They need Dr. Park." Day stood firm, unwilling to go. Then, something unexpected happened. Dr. Park pulled out the alien device from his pocket. "Maybe we don't have to choose," he said. He pressed the device against the alien component in Daz's chest. The symbols on both pieces began to glow. 3 months had passed since fire season ended. The colony of Pira 7 looked different now. New buildings stood where old ones had burned. People moved with more confidence on the streets. They no longer jumped at every strange sound from beyond the walls. Hannah Kim stood before the colony council in the main hall. She was still thin from her ordeal, with a few new scars on her hands. But something else had changed too. She stood taller, her eyes meeting those of others instead of looking at the floor. "Dr. Kim," said Sun, the colony leader, "we are here to recognize your contribution to our survival." Hannah shook her head. "I wasn't brave. I was terrified the whole time." "Yet you went anyway," Sun replied. "And the data you and Dr. Park brought back has changed everything." It was true. The information about fire season being artificial had led to new discoveries. The colony now understood that the burning storms followed set patterns, which they could predict and prepare for. They had even found ways to create safe zones during the worst of the fires. "Dr. Park's research continues," Sun continued. "He believes we may one day learn to control fire season entirely." Dr. Park, his leg healed but with a slight limp, nodded from his seat. "None of it would have been possible without you and Da," he said. Hannah felt a pang at the mention of Da's name. The brave biomechanical horse had survived, but barely. His systems had been badly damaged when he crashed through the colony gates. For weeks, he had been nothing but a broken shell. "Speaking of which," Sun said with a smile, "I believe you have somewhere to be." Hannah thanked the council and hurried out of the hall. She walked quickly through the colony to a new building near her lab. The sign on the door read, "Advanced Biomechanical Research." Inside, She went straight to a large room at the back. There, surrounded by tools and computers, stood a workbench. On it lay what looked like a horse's head, part metal, part synthetic flesh. Blue eyes, currently dark, were set in the face. "Today's the day," Hannah said softly. She picked up a small device, Day's consciousness core, which had survived when his body failed. Engineers had helped her extract it before his systems shut down completely. For months, Hannah had worked day and night, building a new body for Da. It was better than the old one, stronger, more heat-resistant, with improved sensors and mobility. She had used everything they had learned from their journey through fire season. Hannah connected the core to the new body. Then she pressed a button and waited. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the blue eyes began to glow. The head moved, then the neck. Systems came online one by one. Legs shifted, testing their new joints. Day stood up, his new body gleaming in the lab lights. He was magnificent, still a horse in shape, but clearly something more. The alien technology they had discovered was now fully integrated into his systems, giving him capabilities no one fully understood yet. Hannah stepped forward, her hand outstretched. Dad lowered his head to meet her touch. Through their link, which had somehow survived the transfer to the new body, she felt his joy at seeing her again. "I missed you," she whispered. Dade nudged her gently. He had missed her too. Outside the lab window, the purple sky of Pyra 7 was clear and beautiful. In a few months, fire season would return. But this time, they would be ready. "You know," Hannah said, stroking Dad's neck, "people keep calling me a hero. They say I'm brave now." She smiled. "But I know the truth. I rode through fire not because I was brave, but because you were." Dad's blue eyes seemed to smile. Through their link, he showed her what he saw. A woman who had faced her greatest fears to save others. A woman who had found her courage along the way. "Ready for another adventure?" Hannah asked, no longer trembling at the thought. Day lowered himself so she could climb on his back. Together, they walked out into the sunlight, ready to face whatever came next. The end.